Welcome to Explore Music, where we will discover and learn about traditional and cultural music of specific regions or countries of the world. Today, we're exploring the music and dance of traditional Greenland. Greenland is the world's largest island and is geographically considered North America, but is now currently an autonomous territory of Denmark. Greenland's earliest inhabitants were native peoples originating from Alaska and traveling across northern Canada. With Greenland being 80% covered in thick ice, almost all inhabitants of the island have lived near the coasts. The Norse found a few of Greenland's islands in the early 10th century when a ship was blown off its course to Iceland. A few decades later, Eric the Red, exiled for murder from Iceland, set off for Greenland and established the first Norse settlement Brattahlid, now Katajjaq, on the southwestern tip. Eric also named the island Greenland, possibly from the small shrub growth around the coast, but more likely because it was an enticing name for potential settlers. The Norse settlements of Greenland became subject to Norwegian rule in 1261, and then under Danish rule in 1397. The Scandinavian settlements, split mainly western, middle, and eastern, existed for around 500 years, and then had a steep decline sometime during the 15th century, possibly from the onset of the Little Ice Age. The last news of Greenland was relayed in 1410 about the burning at the stake of a male witch. Europe mainly lost connection and trade between the Norse settlements, leading to a collapsed economy for the Greenland settlers. In the 1500s and 1600s, many unsuccessful Danish voyages were sent out in order to re-establish Norse Greenland settlements. By this time, Inuit Greenlanders had migrated and settled in Old Norse towns along the coasts. By 1721, the Dano-Norwegian Lutheran missionary Hans Agede, a military officer, Major Claus Pars, founded the city Gottorp, now known as Nuuk, Greenland's capital. Greenland's small population and isolation from most of Europe made little opportunity for autonomy until the late 20th century. Greenland's population is predominantly Lutheran and Inuit, with a smaller portion being Danish. Greenlandic, derived from Inuit Thule language from the 1200s, is the official language and has three main dialects in the northwest, west, and east. The main Greenlandic dialect is the western one called Kalattuut. Other spoken and important languages in Greenland are Danish and English. Traditional Greenlandic music comes from the Inuit natives. They have a long tradition of using drums and vocalizations that remain influential to this day. One important vocalization and breathing technique has been treated more as a game than music and is called Katajjaq. Katajjaq is traditionally performed by two women who stand very close together and make rhythmically voiced and unvoiced sounds back and forth until they either run out of breath or begin laughing. The sounds are complex, requiring skill and practice. Some throat singing and modern styles of music have been mixed together, further embracing the Inuit culture. Drum dances are another important aspect of native Greenlandic culture. The vocal style used in traditional drum dances typically uses a small range, averaging a sixth, and favors melodic thirds, both major and minor sounding. The act of drum dancing was banned by the Danish Christians who decided it was pagan, but the tradition stayed alive in secret, mainly distanced from the Europeans in northwest and east settlements. The drum, called a kilat, dates back 4,000 years and is made from a wooden frame and stretched reindeer skin. It's beaten under the membrane onto the frame with a wooden stick called a katuk. This creates percussive rhythms against the frame and dual vibrations from the membrane. Traditional Inuit music is always accompanied by singing or vocalization of some kind. Most lyrics revolve around mythology, tradition, and important hunting animals like the polar bear. Listen to part of this drum performance by Kuitse about an unsuccessful love between a raven and a goose. With the arrival of more Europeans, particularly whalers, starting in the 1700s, Greenland experienced more Danish and Celtic influences of culture and music. Missionaries from the Czech region of Moravia also brought the influence of polyphonic choirs and the art of singing Christian hymns, which still remain popular to this day. From the Europeans also came influences of popular dances. The sailors brought the dance styles of the jig and reel, along with instruments like the violin, accordion, organ, and harmonica. Over time, these styles culminated into the traditional Greenlandic polka, called Kalattuut. Kalattuut remains an important dance style in many Greenlandic social settings. Another type of traditional Greenlandic dance is called the mask dance. The mask dance has very old origins and traditionally was performed on dark, cold winter nights. The dancers paint their faces with mainly the colors black, red, and white, which have different meanings such as love, purity, and the spiritual world. The purpose of the dance is mainly to be entertaining in a way, but it revolves around three types of messages: fear, humor, and sexuality. In order to be scarier, the dancers will place a stick in their mouths to stretch their cheeks, or tie a cord around their nose to change their facial shape. The dance is usually acknowledged as a way to introduce fear to children in the community and help them deal with it in a safe environment. In terms of classical composers, Greenland has relatively few compared to other European countries and had a lot of influence from Danish compositions. Composer Paul Rovsing Olsen was born in Copenhagen but studied traditional Greenlandic music, later containing themes in his symphonic works. Native Greenlander Jonathan Peterson was a songwriter and composed the song Our Country Who's Become So Old, which became the national anthem in 1916. The lyricist, Henrik Lund, was a pastor and put the words into traditional Greenlandic Inuit language. He went on to compose other hymns in the Greenlandic language. Since then, there have been more modern classical composers, such as MIK-Koret Gorstrom, a flautist and conductor who has performed all over Nordic Europe. Greenland's music over the 20th century has evolved into interesting mixes of Western music while keeping the Greenlandic language, musical styles, and cultural themes. Rasmus Liebert is one of the most popular musicians from Greenland. Sume was a 70s band credited with being a pioneer of Greenlandic rock music. Nuuk Passe is a hip-hop and rap group formed in the mid-1980s. Their members are Inuit and their songs have a mixture of Greenlandic, Danish, and English. Nanook is probably Greenland's most popular band, formed by two brothers in 2008. Incorporating traditional Inuit themes in some of their songs, they sing in Greenlandic and have a soft indie rock style. Overall, Greenland is very proud of their native culture, and its people love to share their traditional styles. Thanks for watching Explore Music Greenland. For more information about Greenland's traditional music, be sure to check out the links in the description of additional resources and footage. If you liked this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Explore Music. You can also check out our website at exploremusiconline.weebly.com to contact and support us. We now have a running podcast on Anchor, Spotify, or wherever you choose to listen to podcasts.